What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Red Gold Standard podcast. As always, my name is Zach Hernandez, and I am joined by my two co-hosts, Matt Llewellyn and Mike Andrews. And today, we will be previewing the San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl matchup versus the Kansas City Chiefs. We are finally here, guys. We made it to the Super Bowl. We're at the end of the year. There's only one more game left, and the 49ers are in it. Before I toss it over to my panel, if you guys are tuning in on X, make sure you hit like, repost the post. If you're tuning in on YouTube, hit like, subscribe. We want to hear your thoughts, comment in the chat. How you feeling about this game? We want to know everything. Now that I got that out of the way, Matt, how you doing tonight?
Listen, word just came down, and we'll talk about it. Christian McCaffrey, Offensive Player of the Year. But more importantly, one of my favorite 49ers of all time, one of the hardest-hitting linebackers I've ever seen in my life, the man, the myth, the legend, Patrick Willis, inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Finally.
Listen, it's been a weird week. News coming out about turf being weird and the players being mad and the team being mad and fire alarms going off at the hotel. Kyle Disciples getting robbed of Coach of the Year in consecutive years. And, you know, it's a little weird, but I feel like that's going to put the team on an edge, and they're going to go out there and take care of business. I personally can't wait to see it, but we got 2 more days, and that's a hard thing to live through. So let's go, baby. Let's go.
Did they give out Coach of the Year already?
Yeah, I went to Kevin Stefanski.
Oh, get the hell out of here.
Yep. He beat out D'Amico Ryans by 1 first-place vote. They were tied 165 to 165. He had 1 more first-place vote. And people are talking about the quarterback rotation as if Kyle Shanahan didn't do the exact same thing last year.
Exactly. Kyle used 3 quarterbacks last year. So when Wayne and I did our little preview thing,
way further than the Browns did, by the way.
Right, exactly. Like we tried to predict how it was going to go. I said, look, I'm going to give it to Kyle only because he should have got it last year using 3 quarterbacks. But in all honesty, it should go to D'Amico this year. I had no idea they were going to do it with Stefanski. That's crazy. And for the same exact reason that you excluded Kyle.
Yeah, I would not have had a problem with it going to D'Amico. He did a hell of a job getting that Texans team to the playoff with a rookie quarterback with, I mean, as much talent that people didn't know about as was there. You know, now people like Derek Stingley become a household name. You know, Tank Dell becomes a household name, some of these other guys. And they really did it without a running game either because, you know, Damian Pierce was supposed to be this guy, and he was kind of trash this year. Like, he was on my fantasy team, so he was pretty trash.
Yeah, he was a disappointment for sure.
Mike, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm all right, fellas. You know, I've been better. I'm battling this cold. 2 days ago, out of nowhere, I just got hit with something, man. I woke up today between 10 and 11. That's what time I woke up, and that's not me. I work an hour away from home. I'm usually at work by 7 a.m. This was just different. I couldn't get out of bed. I had sweats and everything. You guys might see me randomly wiping my forehead to wipe the sweat off. You guys might see me wiping my nose or something like that. I am battling, but I'm here. You know, I feel like the universe is trying to kick me down, but they can't stop me. They took my YouTube page from me. We got it back. And now I'm sick, but I'm still going to do my 24-hour broadcast on Saturday, and I'm ready, man. This is a year of destiny, and I refuse to be denied. So I'm here. I'm ready to fight like Patrick Willis, man. Let's go.
That's right, man. Hell of a week, but we're here, like you said. Super Bowl is here. Regardless of what craziness happened to get here, we've already recapped the Lions game. Insane type of game that was. But there's been some kind of insane antics going on this week. Matt alluded to it a little bit. Let's just start right out with the field. So, you know, the 49ers get to Las Vegas. And since there's no conspiracy here, I know a lot of people are like, oh, why do the Chiefs get to practice at the Raiders facility? They alternate teams every year. The Eagles were the NFC team last year. They got the home field. The Chiefs are now the home field, and the Niners have to be the away team. So the Niners are at University of Las Vegas, and apparently they, you know, put real grass on top of turf. And they did it a few weeks ago, and it's not great. It's lumpy. It's soft. Is from the way it's been described, I've seen it's like basically stepping in a sponge, and you put your foot down, and the entire top of your foot gets soaked because it's also been raining like crazy there. So they voiced this concern to Roger Goodell, and somebody. Okay, so there's 2 possibilities: somebody in the 49ers or somebody in the NFL side leaked this to the media. Roger Goodell then, from my understanding, moves his press conference to the same day, changes it from open invitation or open, to all the media to invitation only. And basically it's like state TV. He gets to pick whoever the hell is asking him questions and throws the 49ers under the bus, tries to make them look like a bunch of pansies. And, the field's playable. We had 13 experts, yada, yada. Why'd you need to have 13? If it's great, shouldn't the first one be able to tell you that? Regardless, I saw Adam Schefter come out and say they grade these on a scale. Usually a good field is around 70 to 80. This field is graded at a 50. So now that I got all that out of the way, Mike, is this another case of classic 40 whiners? Is there an actual problem here? Who leaked this? What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's a little bit of all the above, I'll be honest with you. To be clear, it was 23 people that inspected this field, not 13, right? So even worse than that. But it's we're kind of playing the hand that we're dealt. I wish it was a little different, but the truth of the matter is we got to play with what we got to play with. And if we can go out there and have a good solid week of practice on a bad field, when we get to the good field, we should be that much better. That's the way I feel about it. I gave the analogy of Rocky training to fight the Russian Ivan Drago, right? Ivan Drago's got all this state-of-the-art stuff that he's training on. He's inside, he's running these tracks, he's running the treadmill and all that. And Rocky's got like this log on his shoulders and he's in the snow and he's trudging through the snow and all that stuff. And he's building up muscles and calisthenics all over other places of his body as opposed to just running in the legs and the arms, right? Like, so he's doing so much more. It's a better overall workout. Well, that's where the Niners are right now. We're out there and we got this field for the week of practice, and every step that we take is equivalent to 3 of their steps, so it's got its pros and cons. We control the workout load. But if they practice for 2 hours, we really, in essence, practice for 6 is the way I'm looking at it. We'll be the better prepared team. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses. The time for excuses are far gone from my mind. I don't care what happens. I don't care about alarms being pulled and none of that shit. It's time. It is time. I don't want to hear anything about anybody. If you're healthy, you get out there and you perform. If they call your number, you better go out there and do it. We're going to be going from in the rain in practice to a dome. Brock Purdy, learn to throw a wet ball. I hope it rains every day that we're practicing out there in UNLV. I really hope it rains every day, because if you can do it there, when you get inside the dome, the ball's going to be coming out that much sharper, that much more crisp. Like, let's do it. So that's what I'm hoping for. You build that callus, and then when we get out there, it's going to be like it's nothing. We're running through hot butter. That's the way I feel it's going to be.
Very well said. Matt, what's your take on this whole field fiasco?
Yeah, it's just funny to see the fan bases going back and forth, right? 49ers fans, they are complaining a little bit. The team, not any more than you would expect them to. And really, it's through back channels, right, that we're hearing that the 49ers aren't happy. But a lot of the fans are upset. And then you have Chiefs fans coming in, talking a bunch of mess. And, after the fiasco, listen, everybody whines about conditions they find to be unfair. That's just how it is. It's funny that 49ers fans are doing it, though, when it comes up to, they're mad at the Chiefs team because they won't adjust their practice schedule to allow the 49ers to practice there. And it's like, Chiefs are under no obligation. And if the roles were reversed, we would hope that the 49ers would take advantage of it. We know in 2012 that they had that situation happen and they allowed the Ravens to practice, but there's no expectation of that. So it's a little bit weird. It's people just chomping at the bit, right? There's a little bit of heat, for the Chiefs players. We saw during the opening night or whatever, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce getting booed. They're kind of playing that up that, you have Andy Reid saying I had no idea. Nobody asked me if if we needed to adjust our practice schedule. They're playing the bad guy a little bit. It's all just a bunch of nerves, right? The 49ers won their first 5 Super Bowls. We've lost our last 2. It's nerves, right? Are we going to get over the hump? A lot of us have been waiting for this moment. So, we don't want to see any little thing. We're like, oh man, there it goes. The league's against us. And there's conspiracies abound. I think it's silly. I think it actually will give the 49ers an edge, right? I've always maintained that I feel like Kyle Shanahan 49ers teams actually play better on the road than they do at home. I think a little bit of discomfort is good for this team. They are a team that does get a little susceptible to believing their own hype. And we saw last week, right? You get over the hump of Green Bay and you're like, all right, cool. Like that was our one mess up game. We got that out of the way. And then what do we hear? We hear, oh yeah, lack of effort showed up on tape. And we address that because that's unacceptable. And we're talking like, that's the NFC Championship game. How does that happen? So I think that these rougher conditions actually benefits the 49ers. It's iron sharpens iron, and those little annoyances are going to cause the 49ers to come in not flat, not, like feeling comfortable or whatever. They're going to be pissed. They're going to be annoyed. They're going to come out there and they're going to take it out on the Chiefs. And that's what I'm hoping for.
I agree heavily with what Matt is saying. This team seems to thrive on like the underdog mindset, right? They play better. They perform better when it's like, oh, the odds are stacked against you for whatever the reason is. And if that's what we got to do right now, then so be it. I am looking for every negative. Bill Vinovich is they don't call hold. His crew doesn't call holding like that. The Chiefs are known for cool. Like, let it be known early. Let's go out there and know exactly the line of fire that we're walking into. When it comes to the field thing in particular, I saw so many Niner fans saying, well, we let the Ravens use our field when we had the Super Bowl in New Orleans because where they were practicing, it wasn't good. And my response was, how did that work out for the 49ers? Maybe you guys don't remember that Super Bowl, but I remember it. And if I'm a team and my practice facility is A+ and yours isn't, I'm not helping you. I'm here to win the biggest game of the year. I am here to etch my name in the history books. I'm not just going to let you level the playing field. Any single piece of advantage that I can get legally, I'm going to go out there and do it. Sorry, stay your asses over there, UNLV. No, you can't come here and practice. I'm not mad at the Chiefs. And I hope that the Niners start to adapt those kind of tendencies as well. We don't have to be everybody's buddy. It's us against them. That's how it should be. And the Chiefs should feel that way. Andy Reid saying, oh, nobody asked me. Even if we did, Andy, I would want you to say no. I would expect you to say no. Why would you help your opponent get better? That makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. If the NFL wants to step in and say, well, our biggest interest is putting the best product on the field and blah, 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 that's different. That is different if the NFL steps in and says that. It's different if the NFLPA comes in and says, oh, well, this player's safety is going to be at risk here if we let them go out there and play on this spongy surface. And blah. That's different. But if I'm the Chiefs and I get to make a decision, there's no way I'm allowing the 49ers to come in here and play on practice on level playing field. Sorry, not happening. And I don't hold it against the Chiefs for taking that advantage with them.
We got a super chat here, and then I'll share some quotes from Chris R. The Niners are favored, but the experts are picking the Chiefs. Just keep doubting us till we play our best. Yeah, we'll see about that. Thank you for your contribution, Chris. I have this article here from Pro Football Talk, which I probably should have found a better source. But regardless, it's the – let me make sure we can all right. It's, what the NFLPA was saying. The NFLPA, where is it? Executive Director Lloyd Howell said the UNLV practice field, quote, really isn't up to snuff for what our players deserve. Asked about the concerns that the 49ers didn't have a good field to practice on, Howell said the NFL should have never allowed it to become an issue in the first place. Quote, hopefully we've gotten to a workable condition, but the mere fact that you're asking about the question in our biggest event means that this is an issue. NFLPA President J.C. Tretter said the union doesn't think there's an injury risk with the field, but does think it's of a lower quality than NFL players deserve. Quote, we need to raise the level to make surfaces high quality, Tretter said. Howell said he's been looking into issues surrounding playing surfaces since he took the job as NFLPA boss last year, and that the players care about it as much as they care about any issue facing their workplace. So, again, people were saying, like, this is kind of a whiny thing for the 49ers to go through. This is the same team that's had how many guys go out with torn ACLs and sprain, they're a kind of traumatized team from injury. So, of course, they're going to be a little susceptible to worrying about a lower than subpar, I should say, field. And regardless, this is the biggest game, just like the NFLPA executive director said. Couldn't you just make sure that it's legit, that it's up to snuff? Playable is not the same thing as up to standards. So I know I'm not going to say it. Never mind. I was going to go a little too far. We got a super chat from JP Hellahard 2800. Against all odds, we will take 6 and Brock the world. I like that. That's right. 100%. I'm feeling like that Philadelphia, pre-Philadelphia game this year feeling where it's like there's so much emotion and just passion waiting for that game to start. And then the first quarter goes really shaky, but then they just whoop the team for the next 3 quarters. Oh man, what I would do for that in the Super Bowl. Go ahead, Mike.
It's the last game of the year. Why are you still biting your tongue? Please say what you were gonna say. Like, come on, bro. Let's let your nuts hang, bro. Like, this is our last chance. I put it in my description. Are we gonna get the final Matt rant of the year today? You know, like, come on, man. Like, there's no need to bite your tongue.
Okay,
this is it, right, bro. This is it. Let's go, baby.
Let's do it then. Okay, so the Goodell NFL commissioner says the field is playable. Well, as men, there's a big difference between a woman being fuckable and a woman being somebody you want to go out and marry or date, you know. So the field may be fuckable, but you wouldn't put a ring on it. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
Also coming from a dude who's never even seen a fucking athletic field.
Yeah. Come on, baby. How the fuck does he know? Come on, man. Let's go air his shit out. Let's go. Right? That's what I'm talking about.
Roger Goodell got to get 2 left shoes to go with those 2 left feet. That dude, I can't even believe that he has the audacity to do that too. And you got the NFLPA coming out and being like, yeah, no, that's not true. Yeah,
right.
You got the player. Like, come on. You can't point at the sky and go, it's green when I know damn well that shit's blue.
Right.
You know?
My whole thing is who leaked this? Maybe I guess you could say the 49ers have a little bit to gain by leaking it to the media. Look what we have to deal with. The situation's shit.
But it could have just been, we all know that there are people that will be around the team or travel through the team or do whatever. Dude, it could have been something that somebody overheard, right? It not necessarily the 49ers. They could have talked to the NFLPA about it in the league office, and then somebody at the league office kind of, whatever the case, it was going to come out, right? As soon as you had media there for practices and stuff, as soon as the first player, sank in 6 inches on a wet, soggy field, they're going to be like, oh, okay.
Well, and then the other thing is this, anything concerning the Niners, positive or negative, we blow it up times 10, right? So if one person tweeted something about, this field looks a little weird for this to be the preparation place for the Super Bowl. If he tweeted that, and let's say he only normally gets 2 or 3 likes, but he got 30 likes on that one or 30 retweets, right? Now he's inclined to dig deeper because this is a hit. In comparison to what I normally get, this is a hit. So now he starts digging more and he spreads the word until a Mike Silver gets it or an Adam Schefter sees it or a Zach or the 49ers Hive account sees it. And then all of a sudden it takes off from there. All it takes is one tweet to blow up online and someone else will continue to dig and look for it. And that's what I think that's what ended up happening. I don't think Kyle Shanahan went out there to complain about it because when they asked Kyle about it at the podium, he was like, the conditions are getting better day by day. And so, we'll go out there and do what we need to do.
It wasn't even Kyle, though. The Kyle and the players didn't even know at first. So the team sent out representatives ahead of time to inspect facilities to make sure that everything's up to snuff. And those were the guys that actually tipped them off. So it's not that Kyle and the players are bitching about it. I mean, you could probably – honestly, these guys love football so much, you could throw them on a fucking dirt field and they're going to go out there and do their thing. You know what I mean? Like, This was the brass, the bureaucrats, the administration or whatever going out there and looking at this stuff. And I think that those guys are important to have too. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think that, people are blowing it up like the 49ers players and the coaches themselves are the ones that are making a big, to do about this. And I don't think that's the case. It was the people whose job it is to inspected the facilities and said, hey, we got a problem here. And then all of a sudden it turns into complaining. So, people want it both ways, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Mike, you brought up Mike Silver, and I think he actually had the best article on this. I know a lot of 49ers fans are kind of iffy about Mike Silver. He had a great point, and he had some quotes in here from Goodell in his press conference. He said, it's softer than what they have practice on, but that happens. It's well within all of our testing standards. Is something we think all of our experts, as well as neutral field inspectors, have all said unanimously that this is a playable field. In other words, suck it up, buttercups. So Mike Silver did a really good article over at the SF Chronicle about this. If you guys want to go check it out. I know it's behind a paywall, but there are ways around it. Not to stiff Mike Silver here, but if you guys are really short, you could click the little reader mode only on your phone and it will let you get through and read the article. So, but all right, that's all about the field I wanted to get into. Mike, you brought up the fire alarm going off in the hotel this morning. Go ahead, please.
I just wanted to say one more thing about the field conditions, right? They're talking about the Chiefs and the Eagles, how they were both complaining about the actual game field from last year, right? That's not something I think either team should complain about because both teams are going through that at the same time, right? If that's level, it's level. If you're on a field and the grade just happens to be 50, as long as both teams are playing on that same 50, then it's cool. It's a level playing field. So I don't like it's not the same as the Eagles complaints last year or the Chiefs complaints about the field. It's not the same thing. I saw a lot of that going around this week on social media saying, "Oh, the Niners are acting like the Eagles." No, the Eagles I thought were bitches for their complaints. Like, bro, you're complaining about a field and they played on that field also. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Matt.
After giving the 49ers all that smoke about, oh, don't make bullshit excuses. We would have beat you anyway. Yeah, you lost your quarterback on the second drive. It wouldn't matter. We would have beat you anyway. Why are you complaining about it? You're just complaining. Bro, we whooped you. We whooped you. And what happened? Even Lane Johnson ass come out on Dan Patrick today saying, yep, they broke us. We were done after that. We put stuff on film and I don't know if they were piggybacking off of whatever, but we just weren't right. And I thought it was hilarious that he put it all on the offense when I was like, dude, your defense was dog shit too. Like, don't get it twisted. It wasn't just your offense that lost. Dude, 32nd against the pass in the league, like trash. Nick Sirianni, kumbaya. I don't hear you now, Chiefs fans. Remember that? That was a world's time ago. That seems so long ago. And just like yesterday, whooped them up, man. Whooped them up. So now we get to come in and hopefully the 49ers can do the same thing. You got people talking, you got people chirping, you got a fan base that thinks that they're better than everybody else. Time to eat a piece of humble pie.
I will say real quick, if I was a Chiefs fan and you have, the greatest quarterback, arguably, most talented ever, but certainly of this generation, you're in your fourth Super Bowl in 5 years. I would think these Chiefs fans would be like a little more like relaxed and chill and like appreciative of just being able to experience this greatness as a fan. They're just as much as pricks as like any other team's fan. It's funny. They're salty. They're in our mentions. They're crying about every little thing. And it's like, you guys are like the pinnacle of NFL right now. You're at the top of the pyramid. Everybody else is below you. Yet you guys are still acting like salty, I don't know, Seahawks fans or salty Eagles fans. It's funny to me. I expected a little more.
Isn't it funny how a lot of people like to give people smoke about the Patriots dynasty, this and that. The Patriots dynasty, their fans didn't talk a lot of crap about anybody else in the context of you complain too much or this or that. It was always like, bro, Tom Brady is the best. Bro, Bill Belichick is the best. Bro, Foxborough is the best. All that stuff. They talked about how good their team was. They appreciated what they had, and they appreciated the fact that they were really, really good. I don't see that from Chiefs fans. Chiefs fans try to prop themselves up by cutting everybody else down. It's like they're insecure. It's like they know that the Chiefs are really close to being 0-3 in Super Bowls. Yep. So it's they got to worry about that.
Chiefs fans get it from their players. And I might be jumping ahead, and I apologize if I am. But Chris Jones had the presser, and is that something that we were going to discuss?
Well, no. I'll stop. Please go ahead.
We can discuss it, but Mike, before you go on, this goes even back to last year. Remember when they won the Super Bowl, and Travis Kelce had the audacity to say, "Yeah, nobody believed in us.
Yeah, nobody thought we'd be here.
Out of here, dude. Nobody gave us a chance." Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
It's ridiculous.
It doesn't make any sense. And unfortunately for their fans, they have to feed off of what the words from the players are, right? But you got Chris Jones going to the podium during media week and saying, "Oh man, how do you feel about going against the 40? They're the best team I've ever seen in my entire life. There's no team as good as them. Like they have the best at every position.
I'm nervous.
They just show good. I'm nervous. Like blah blah blah. Like, bro, that was so beyond tongue in cheek that like it just came off as like, wow, you arrogant, pompous fuck. Like, hey, you're gonna be in for it, bro. Like, that's really like, but it was the Chief fan. Like, what are they supposed to do as fans in that situation? How do they respond to those kind of messages? So they have no choice but to take on the message of their leaders. He's got it right there. I'll shut up so you guys can hear what he says. But it's like the fans of this team, they have no choice but to take on the identity of what he's saying and what he's sharing here. So here it is.
He's scary. He's vicious.
This is about Trent Williams.
He's scary. He's vicious. He's one of the best players I can face. So I'm a little nervous, man. A little nervous. I'm going to pray about it a little more and continue to prepare.
Such a bitch.
Like, it just looks like somebody asked him to listen to a history lecture or something. He looks so uninterested in what he's actually saying.
Yep.
And it's disrespectful. And honestly, he better watch out. This ain't the 2019 49ers where Jimmy Garoppolo is just going to sit there and let you get after him. Bro, you better be careful that your hand ain't grabbing air when Brock Purdy runs right by your ass. Or you ain't grabbing air when Trent Williams launches you on your ass. You know what I mean? Because Trent Williams wasn't here for that last Super Bowl. Yep. And no disrespect to Joe Staley. Joe Staley, Hall of Famer. He's going to be future Hall of Famer, all that. Trent Williams is a different animal. I mean, when Trent Williams is 35 yards downfield and blocking, and a DB's like, nah, fuck that. I'm running out of bounds. Right? Turns his back and runs away from Trent Williams. It's not the same. And it's not going to be the same. And that attitude going in couldn't be me, but do what you do, man.
You know, what I found hilarious is we heard all week about Chase Young's effort I'm trying to type it, talk at the same time. So it's all space. The Chase Young's effort in the first half of that Lions championship.
Wait, hold that thought. Joe Flacco won comeback player of the year over a dude
He
that
sure
literally
did.
died.
He sure did. And by the way, Hamlin did not deserve comeback player of the year. I get it.
No, he
died.
didn't. He didn't. But I mean, what about, I don't know, the guy that came back and is in the Super Bowl right now after tearing his UCL?
So I asked about that. And apparently this is a regular season award. So injuries that happen in the postseason don't count against him. And he didn't miss any regular season time because of it. So that's why
you don't have to miss that way. Gino won it last year for being asked the year before that. Like no time.
Well, so did Joe Flacco.
Shit. Yeah. So yeah. I don't understand it. It's like they require an injury, but then they don't. Sometimes you can just not be good, not be in the league.
Honestly, these awards are starting to become a little bit more like the Grammys or the Oscars or whatever, where it's pomp and circumstance, but there's no real substance behind it. I feel like Kyle Shanahan's right in that it's like, yeah, Pro Bowler, like who gives a shit, right? AP All Pro is like what you want to make. Mm-hmm. You know, these awards, it's for show. Like, okay, that's great, but some of these awards have been ridiculous.
But anyway, sorry, we got a little sidetracked. As far as Chase Young, right? We saw a clip going viral of him just kind of jogging alongside a touchdown run that the 49ers defense gives up. Goes viral to the point where you have John Lynch, Steve Wilkes, Kyle Shanahan, Fred Warner, all of them talking about it at the Super Bowl week press conferences, talking about how it's been addressed, talking about how that was embarrassing, unacceptable. You'll never see that again. Chase Young just became a 49er this season. He's not signed to it long-term. He's never gotten that big money from this team. You know who does quit on plays that I haven't really heard being talked about, who did get a big contract and has been on that team for a long time? Mr. Chris Jones. I've seen plenty of film of this man when he's not in a position to make the play, when maybe it's a little far away from him, the dude gives up. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't try. It's literally like a big tubby Chase Young out there just watching the play go on right in front of him. So, hey, if you want Chris Jones to not be a factor in this game, run it away from him, run it right at him. It doesn't really matter because if he's, he just checks out. He just checks out. And the one thing I will give him is he gets his hand up. Maybe he'll bat a couple passes, but.
Right. He's a defensive tackle. And so when the play is beyond him, he's expecting the linebackers or the corners or the safeties to make a play. I do think that he is the best defensive tackle in the NFL. And I know that Aaron Donald is still here. I know that he's still here. Chris Jones the last 2 years has been a better defensive tackle than Aaron Donald. With that said, though, once a play gets beyond the line of scrimmage and his little muddied 5-yard radius, he does tap out. He does. So are you expecting that guy to make a play 17 yards downfield? I know personally I'm not. Personally. So I tend not to hold it against him, but you are 1,000% correct. He taps out once it's beyond his scope of responsibility.
I've seen, and trust me, I know it's a different situation. I've seen Justin Smith chase a receiver down 30 yards and force a fumble to change the game. So if you're getting paid that top dollar, then I kind of do expect you to at least run. He just stops. He just kind of, all right, they got it, So, and he's held out for more money. He's already gotten big contracts. I just thought it was funny how we heard it for a week and a half about Chase Young, a guy who's not even under contract. The 49ers didn't draft, gave up a couple of mid-round picks. I don't even remember what it was for basically just a rental for the rest of the year. But Chris Jones is like their primary defensive player, and it's okay for him because, what do you expect? But I agree here with Troy Knoll. This needs to be our game plan. Run the damn ball, win the chip, period. Was there anything else you guys want to talk about, like kind of outside factors before we get into the actual game? I know Mike mentioned that fire alarm getting pulled.
Yeah, I do. And this is something that bothers me. Fans, whether it's 49er fans or everybody else, dude, stop dogging people for what they do on Monday night. Okay? There was a question asked of Kyle Shanahan about Brock Purdy, and it seems like Kyle may have been imbibing a little bit, and people are up in arms about that. Oh, how dare he how dare he do this? How dare he be drinking? First of all, you don't know if he was drinking or if he was tired or whatever, right? People start speaking differently. We don't know if he was relaxed Kyle and drinking a little bit, or we don't know if he was super stressed Kyle and hadn't slept in 3 days doing a game plan for the game. You don't know. First of all, so cut the speculation. Second of all, even if he was drinking, I would rather have a loosened up, ready to go, confident, fun-loving Kyle Shanahan going into this game than the uber-pressed, asshole, puckered tight Kyle Shanahan that blew a 28-3 lead against the New England Patriots and outcoached himself in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs and went away from the run in the second half went away from Deebo Samuel in the second half, getting away from the Kyle Shanahan that has outcoached himself in big games pretty consistently at times. And, why against Detroit, not running the ball? Why are we throwing the ball for 60, 65, 70% of the time? Why are you going away from what works for you? Because he thinks that the other – listen, I would much rather get the loose Kyle than the uptight Kyle. And the people that are out here judging somebody for what they do on a Monday, as if that's going to have any bearing on what's going to happen during the game, you're talking about a really stupid opening night press event where you have players from opposing teams at the same position up on the podium together, and some doofus in a fucking bow tie is asking them stupid fucking questions back and forth. Brock Purdy, are you ready to disappoint Taylor Swift? Like, what are we talking about here? You know what? If that was me, I'd be drunk too, because that's some bullshit. I don't want to do this. And then I know the next day I got to go out there and do all these questions. You wonder why these players seem disinterested? It's because the questions are stupid. Somebody asked Chase Young if they won a Super Bowl, if he would get Brock Purdy's face tattooed on him. Are we really doing this? And then fans are going to have the audacity to judge the coach who has to sit through this shit? Fuck that, man. Kyle, if you want to have a little bourbon on the rocks, you want to put a little drinky drink in your coffee cup, by all means have at it, dude, because I'd much rather have you loosened up and ready to go on Sunday when it counts the most than have you puckered all week and out-coaching yourself once again, because the 49ers need to get 6, and this year is the prime year to get it done.
Let me give a little pushback here really quick. Now, I am not opposed to anything Matt said concerning Kyle Shanahan. However, when it comes to the players, it's a little bit different.
Oh, players different.
Yes, Kyle Shanahan
will affect their performance days out.
Yeah, there we go. See,
affect Kyle Shanahan days out.
So I did an entire Patreon show talking about George Kittle at the podium and Charvarius Ward at the podium.
I knew it.
George Kittle said, no, it'll be really cool to win a Super Bowl and then turn up afterwards and party. Charvarius Ward said the first 2 days we're going to go out there and turn up. It's going to be like a movie set. celebrities and everything. We're going to go out there. We're going to turn up the first 2 days, and then we'll focus. And I was completely against that. Kyle is very different than players. Kyle is an X's and O's guys, come up with the game plan, dissect the film, assess the film, come up with the game plan, implement it, boom, have some drinks. It's already implemented. That's the plan, right? Players have to go out and perform at a certain stance. And so I gave Ward a lot of shit for his comments. And I am not going to walk that back, because alcohol will change the way you perform. I'm not saying that you can't be good. I'm not saying you can't be great, but alcohol will change the way that you perform. So I gave players a lot of shit. I personally applauded Kyle Shanahan. There's no way I'm going to go through 5 hours of media coverage and stupid ass questions and be sober, because these guys make me want to swallow bullets at a random clip. Like there's no way I was going to do that. So I'm with Matt as far as backing off of Kyle Shanahan. What I'm not with is the players being backed off of. Hold these players accountable.
Right. And I didn't touch on the Charvarius Ward thing just because I knew somebody else probably would. But the thing to remember is, you're right, Mike. The game plan's in place. The 49ers didn't travel out to Vegas until that opening day, right? So you're talking about an entire week where they're sitting there knowing who they're going to play, knowing who their opponent is, knowing where they're going to practice, knowing where the Super Bowl is, knowing the timeline of events, going through all this stuff. Kyle has this in place. And guess what? He's not doing Monday or Tuesday, any X's and O's stuff, because it's the opening night where they traveled to and had to do the opening night. And then Tuesday is always Radio Row, Media Day, all that stuff. Then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you start doing your practices. That's when Kyle can get dialed in. I agree with Mike 100%. Alcohol consumption will affect performance days out, for especially at this high level of athleticism. And I guarantee you, somebody from that 2019 team that went to the Super Bowl and didn't win it is going to be like, hey, you won in 2019. Don't get it twisted, dude. Like, we get it. But for the rest of us here, and it might well have been George Kittle, maybe a first timer like Trent Williams, who's like, hey, you better not fuck this up for me. No, we ain't turning up shit. We're turning up the volume on our alarm clock because we got to wake up. Right? Like that's what it's going to be. I guarantee you somebody from the team talked to him after they heard those comments, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lamar Jackson just won the MVP.
Yep. Also, all I'll say is, and you guys both alluded to it, he's the only one
as
here.
Long as Brock Purdy wins the MVP that actually matters, then that's fine.
Right. Mooney's the only one with the ring. So if you feel like that's what you got to do, or you can do, I guess not got to, can do and still play well, as long as you play well, dude, because we can't afford you out there grabby. We can't afford you out there looking slow. We can't afford you out there fucking up. Like, it's the biggest game of the year. And let's be honest, that's just the type of person he is. Like, he hasn't been in front of the media that much, but he's just kind of very, like, real and honest. And I think it's kind of a different flavor for 49ers fans, because we're used to, like, the buttoned up Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, and Travis Moore. It's just like, yeah, no, we're going to get there. Like, Jay-Z going to be there. Like, we're going to party. It's just like, yo, we're not used to this. Like, this is totally different. So I appreciate the honesty, but I think there are times, it's like when you're talking to your boss, you're not just like, I got fucked up this weekend and this and that. It's like, okay, come on. Let's put that filter there and just tell us what we want to hear. You are going to go try hard and train and whatnot.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that. So on Monday after the NFC Championship game, I didn't go to work. The victory shots got to me. I text my boss, I am working from home, and he was like, so I go to work on Tuesday. He was like, should I just put you off for Monday after the Super Bowl, regardless of if you guys win or not? And I said, well, I'm on vacation that whole week, so I'm in Vegas that week. Nice. He was like, oh, that's right, I forgot. But he was like, it's in his mind already. Like, you're not going to be here because of how you turn up on the weekends for the game. So, it's like that. Zach, you were 100% right. Like, they kind of see it. So,
yeah, that's funny. Matt, do you have something to add?
Yeah, what I was going to say was, listen, I got to push back against your opinion, Zach, because, like, it's cool, right? If you're coming into the office after a bender in Vegas and being like, whatever, and you got to punch in those fucking numbers, as long as Mrs. Krabappel's taxes come out right, like, who cares, right? But for Charvarius Ward, who has dealt with groin injury, hamstring injury, calf. You're talking about alcohol consumption, which can deplete your magnesium, deplete your sodium, right? Deplete your potassium, because as you get more and more dehydrated and you start peeing out more and more electrolytes, you have less water to replace. Blah 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 blah. We can get to the whole thing. Someone who has those soft tissue injuries can't afford that bender, even if it's a few days out, because regardless of whether he's clear-headed to go onto the field for those practice days, it is going to affect his performance in terms of what's going on in his muscles and in his bloodstream and everything like that. It does matter in an athletic.
Right. I wasn't saying go out and get hammered. Don't drink. But if you wanted to like go out and like be around the celebrities, okay, I guess fine.
Even lack of sleep, though.
Yeah.
Even lack of sleep.
Go ahead, Mike.
And this was a debate that Wayne and I had. When me and my friends say turn up, I think it means something different for people who are millionaires. So let me ask you guys this question. When you hear Charvarius Ward say, for the first 2 days in Vegas, we're going to turn up and then we'll focus on the game, what did you guys interpret it as? Not saying that we're right and we know what he meant, but how did you interpret his words?
He's going to go with a group of his friends, and they're going to go over and get bottle service at Spearmint Rhino for 2 days and start fucking popping off 20s at strippers. That's what's going to happen. That's what I think anyway.
I took it as he's going to enjoy being a celebrity. Like he's going to enjoy being, because he mentioned like Jay-Z and Beyonce, I'm pretty sure, in that same sentence. So I took it as I'm going to go and kind of be a fan and like enjoy the actual festivities. And then after all that, go and actually game plan and practice and whatnot. But there's probably a good amount of both.
He's been to a Super Bowl before, right?
Yep.
But it was in Miami, which is another place where you can turn up, right? But Vegas is Vegas, and there's one thing that people do in Vegas when they turn up. That's like you're either at the club or you're either at the dance club or you're at the strip club, right? No one's turning up at Mon Ami Gabi outside of the Paris. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's like getting their steak dinner. Like, damn, dude, let's turn it up. I mean, maybe Brock Purdy, right, at 6:30 p.m. But that's not how I take it as. And you've been to a Super Bowl, so you already know about the celebrity and the things like that. You've already been around that. You know what it is. I don't know. I just don't think that that's what he meant, in my opinion, but I could be wrong.
All right, let's get into this actual game. This is a good game. This is a really good game for the 49ers, in my opinion. The 49ers, the line, take it with a grain of salt because it doesn't really mean much once the actual game starts. 49ers are favored by 2.5. There's been a ton of debates as to why. And has anybody seen the 49ers' playoffs? Yada, yada, yada. The Chiefs don't score in the second half. There's just something they don't do. It's been a reoccurring problem all year. I don't think they scored above 30 points this entire season. I'm trying to pull it up here. Oh, no, they did. They scored 41 week 3 and then 31 week 7. And that's it. Those are the only 2 times they scored above 30 points all year. So their offense is not the same Chiefs offense that we're kind of historically used to, where it's explosive. There's deep downfield shots. That's not really the case. In my opinion, and you could easily say the same thing about the 49ers, so I'm not taking it away from them, but they could have lost the last 2 weeks just as easily as they won. Buffalo, Stephon Diggs forgets how to catch. Josh Allen has a defender pushed into his lap, or I guess his offensive lineman pushed into his lap by a defender, misses Gabe Davis for the wide open touchdown. Buffalo misses a kick. And then last week in the championship game, I guess a week and a half now at this point, the Ravens just forgot who they were apparently and decided, let's only give our running backs 6 carries, even though we're the number 1 rushing team in the NFL. And
Gotta prove Lamar's MVP, bro.
That basically is what happened. It didn't make any sense, but
I do love Ravens fans, by the way, blaming the offensive coordinator again, rather than Lamar not being a great passer. Yeah, it was Greg Roman's fault, who is now the offensive coordinator of the Chargers. R.I.P. Justin Herbert. Prayers be. And now it's the new coordinator's fault.
Todd Monken.
I forget his name. Yeah, Monken.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But
that's your MVP, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So what seemed to me is like the Ravens and Monken specifically felt like once the Chiefs went down and scored that opening drive touchdown, and I swear I found the stat, but I couldn't find it afterwards. Lamar had not trailed in a game in like 9 weeks or something like that. Like it had been so long since he had actually trailed in a game because they had gotten the hot start, and then the defense has been so good. I think they got punched in the mouth and they didn't know how to react. They're like, yo, we usually do this. And then most of the game, it was a 7-point game. That's what blows my mind. It was a 1-score game until like the third quarter when the Chiefs kicked a field goal and they made it a 10-point game, if I remember correctly. So they felt like they needed to pass their way out of this deficit when in reality, they could have just stuck to their game plan, which I want to give Kyle a lot of credit for in that Lions game, because he could have easily gotten out of his game plan. He didn't. He stuck with it. They kept running the ball. Before he even got into the fourth quarter, the 17-point lead was gone for the Lions. So, yeah, Anthony, Ravens lost the game more than the Chiefs won it. And you could, like I said, you could make the same argument. The Lions lost it more than the Niners won it. That's fine. But at least the Niners scored points in the second half. Like that Chiefs win was a classic Jimmy Garoppolo win where they build like a 7 to 10 point lead in the first half and just spend the next 2 quarters hoping to God they don't lose that lead. So, Mike, I'll start with you. How do you feel about defending the Chiefs offense Sunday?
You know, this Chiefs offense is one that has been shaken up a little bit. For whatever reason, people are highlighting the loss of Tyreek Hill this year as opposed to last year, and I don't quite understand that. But they're not the same. They're not wired the same. They're not built the same. And I think that the Niners are a really good second half adjusting team. I'm not worried about the Chiefs offense in the second half. If we can keep this a 1-score, I'll be honest with you, even a 2-score game after the first half, I think the Niners win the Super Bowl. The Chiefs, for whatever reason, when they go out there, Andy Reid does not hold back. He's going to put it all on the line every play. But there's pros and cons to that, right? If you're going to do that on the opening drive or the second drive or the third drive, we know what your big fish are. We know what you're going to hit us with later on. And I don't think that he's got the flexibility this year to say, well, we'll hit him with players C, D, and E, and then hit him with A, B, and C in the second half. He doesn't have that luxury this year. So Andy Reid's cards are kind of, they're going to all be bore right in the first half. If you could figure out how to adjust and adapt, you got a really, really good shot at beating this team. That's really how I feel.
Yeah, I feel like this offense is going to be, for the Chiefs, is going to be pretty simple, right? First down, you're either running with Isaiah Pacheco or you're running some type of tunnel screen or something to get the ball to Rashee Rice out in space and see where you are. If you're second and third and under 5, it's going to either be a run or a pass to Kelsey. If it's over 5, then it's going to be Rashee Rice on the boundary. And that's essentially their entire offense, and you're going to have to deal with that. And after the last couple of weeks, Mike, I know you talked about after the Packers game that you weren't super concerned about the 49ers run defense. I'd say after the Lions game, we should be a little bit. It was a little bit more evident that, the Lions were just able to, and after a game where they gave a big run to Aaron Jones, they do it again, right? Right off rip on the first drive, they give up a huge run. They got to shore that up. If there was any game that they came out, and I don't want to see, Javon Hargrave get his dick knocked in the dirt and knocked off the line of scrimmage, or Javon Kinlaw getting pushed back, or Eric Armstead not getting penetration, or, Chase Young not giving the effort. This is the game. The running game is the key to everything the Chiefs do because they do not have the horses out wide. And Travis Kelce, for the last couple of weeks, has had good games, but there's no reason that Fred Warner should not be able to cut him off. There's no reason that Dre Greenlaw should not be able to cut him off. If I can't remember where it was. It was like NFL Next Gen Stats or something about Travis Kelce's route trees. The dude just runs to open space. So just run with him, Again, if you can take Kelce away, you can take Rice away. Man, I'll put the ball in Kadarius Toney's hands. Please, please, please put the ball into Kadarius Toney's hands. I'd rather have that. It is an interesting juxtaposition from 2019 where the 49ers had the better defense but the worse offense. I feel like the Chiefs now have the better defense and the 49ers have the better offense is a little bit of an inversion. Not because the 49ers don't have I feel like the 49ers have the better players on defense. It's just that they haven't been able to put it together, whether it's scheme, whether it's whatever they're doing. I'd like to see them get away from the wide 9 and just do a regular 4-3 base. That way you're not running the risk of over pursuing while leaving huge gaps up the middle. There's ways to do this. Joe Thuney is probably not going to play, right? Just push him back. This is the time to get Steve Young said it best, right? Super Bowls aren't won. They're taken from the grip of bloody hands. It's a paraphrase of the quote he said, but I thought it was a really cool quote. So I totally agree with that. It is a weird inversion of what we saw in 2019. So
yeah, I agree 100%. And I shared Travis Kelce's routes there against Buffalo. He, like you said, Matt, he just goes wherever the open space is and sits. This is a passing and rushing efficiency chart entire season through the conference championship games. And the 49ers are in a league of their own, literally top right, number 1, both rushing and drop back EPA per play. And the Chiefs, they're closer to like Tampa, Seattle, Houston, New Orleans, Cincinnati. So I really do think, like both of you guys touched on, this Chiefs offense isn't the same Chiefs offense that people are used to. This is a defensive team that has been holding it down for their offense. That hasn't really been as good as previous years. And Matt, you touched on Joe Thuney's not going to play. Nick Allegretti played pretty well for him since he's been out, but will that hold up versus the 49ers defensive line? Unfortunately, it seems like we can never take advantage of these injuries. Frank Ragnow had about 1,000 sprained and dislocated body parts last week. Wasn't even an issue. Didn't hear about it all game long. But I will say they did get pressure. It's not sacks. They did get pressure in the middle of that line last week versus the Lions to force Goff into some rollouts and bad passes. Maybe we could see that this week versus Mahomes. People forget he threw 2 interceptions versus the 49ers the first time. His Super Bowl stats are not great. Last year was obviously his best Super Bowl, but other than that, they're not fantastic. So I think it really does come down to stopping Travis Kelce. And I saw a comment in here from Albert. Is Kelce the main concern for the Niners defense? 1,000%. I don't know why the Ravens just decided, it's okay. We won't cover him too much. To be fair, Mahomes put a beautiful back hip throw in that opening drive touchdown. It wasn't even a back shoulder. You can't really defend that. But you can't let him just eat. You can't let him find the open spots. You need to have, and I think the 49ers have that in Fred Warner or Dre Greenlaw, preferably Warner, to just take that away. Take that away, force somebody else to beat you. It's like 3 seconds left in an NBA game. You're the Warriors. You're down 2 points. Okay, anybody else but Steph Curry's getting this ball off. You do not let Steph Curry get that shot off. Whatever you do, if Clay or Draymond hits a 3, you live with it. If Rashee Rice or Pacheco or Valdez Scantling catches the ball and goes off, you live with it. In my opinion, you don't let Kelce go off. Matt, go ahead.
I actually think that Pacheco is what makes that offense go. I think he's much more dynamic and much more to worry about than Travis Kelce. And I think that you need to concentrate on stopping Isaiah Pacheco and put them in long down and distance situations, because the more that you do that, the more that Patrick Mahomes has to rely on these receivers that, quite frankly, aren't up to the par of what he's had in the past. Tyreek Hill's not walking through that door. Sammy Watkins isn't walking through that door. 2019 Travis Kelce is not walking through that door. Regardless of what Travis Kelce has been in the last couple of weeks, this season has been a down season for him. He has not been what he was before. And I just think that Pacheco getting them into manageable second and third down situations is what drives that offense. And when Patrick Mahomes has to sit there as a pocket quarterback, he is ripe for the picking, and he will make mistakes much more this season than I've ever seen him make. He had, I don't know, I can pull up the stats here, but he had more interceptions, I believe, than Brock Purdy did. And some of his interceptions were not great. Yeah, he had 14 interceptions to 27 touchdowns. Less than a 2-to-1 touchdown ratio for Patrick Mahomes this year. Not great. So Purdy had more touchdowns passing, less interceptions, higher completion percentage, more yards, right? So by statistical measure, Patrick Mahomes is having a very down year. I would rather have Patrick Mahomes relying on people to get the ball to that just aren't that great than giving the ball to Pacheco and just letting him get in these situations where, yeah, it does matter that Travis Kelce is going to beat you for 5 yards. Very easy to beat you for 5 yards down the line of scrimmage with any defense, really. But when you get into these 3rd and long situations with Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw out there, it's going to be harder for Travis Kelce, who seems to have lost a step, to get those 3rd and 11 plays. That's just how I'm feeling it.
What Kelce is phenomenal at is finding a soft spot in the zone. He will find it and then he will lay down in it. You know what I mean? Like he's not gonna go anywhere else. He's gonna stop. He's gonna be like, all right, this is where I am. This is who I am, and boom, deliver the ball to me right here. And that's what's great. And Matt, you nailed it on the head. It's Isaiah Pacheco, that Jersey boy right there. He's gonna run through 3 or 4 tackles to get you 4 or 5 yards every time he touches the ball. He's not going down on first contact. He is built a different way. He's tough, and he's going to go out there and earn it every single time. He's going to get up. He's going to bounce up. Even if you hurt him, he's not going to let you know. He's going to pop right up. He's going to pound his chest. He's going to go back in for one more play, and then he's going to leave. You might have hurt me on play 1, but I'm not leaving until play 3. I can't let you know that you hurt me. It's a mental game with him, and that's how Isaiah Pacheco was wired. And by the time we get to that 3rd play, Kelce only has 3 or 4 yards to cover, and then he could lay down in that zone. I was looking at the stats, and Kelce has a lot of catches, but no yards to show for it. No yards to show for it. It's one of those catch the ball, tuck and duck, and maintain possession, right? He's not the George Kittle where I'm going to catch the ball and then run after the catch. He's not doing those things anymore. Travis Kelce's better years are behind him, and, shout out to him for a phenomenal career and all that stuff, but he's not that guy anymore. Those days are long behind him. This offense right now lives and dies with the run game. I won't even just say Pacheco, but if they're not getting anything in the run game, this offense is stagnant. It's extremely stagnant. So that's where I'm going with it all.
So I mentioned, by the way, Patrick Mahomes' Super Bowl stats. In his career, 3 Super Bowl games, he's averaging 246 passing yards, and he has a total of 5 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. That's it.
Did you guys see the stat that Patrick Mahomes has 50 plus interceptions turned over by penalty? Did you guys see this?
No.
So, oh man, I wish I could find it. I'll see if I can find it and I'll send it to you. But I don't know where this came from. Since 2016, he's got over 50 interceptions that were turned over by a flag in his favor. And the second closest person is Josh Allen with like 7 or 8. Damn. Think about how crazy that is of a stat. That is a wild stat that you've had that many interceptions overturned because of penalties in your favor. That is nuts.
That's crazy. That's insane. And on top of that, he led the league last year in like turnover worthy plays or interceptions or whatever the hell, that should have happened but weren't caught. I talked about the Chiefs offense struggling in the second half. They were held scoreless in the second half of football games 4 times this season. They did it 3 straight games in the middle of the year, and then last week in the AFC Championship game again. So it's a reoccurring problem for them. And the 49ers on the flip side led the league in the regular season with 267 first half points and 3rd overall with 224 second half points. They're as even as you can get. So the 49ers, in my opinion, as long as they just continue scoring, even if it's a touchdown per quarter, they're looking good, because the Chiefs, they start off hot and then they just kind of winnow down, and then that's it. Matt, did you have anything to add?
No, I'd just be willing to bet that those second halves for the Chiefs, they're getting away from that running game a little bit. That's kind of where I would see for that. Yeah, the offense has been stagnant. They just don't have the weapons, And the argument against Purdy, it doesn't wash when you see the argument for Mahomes, right? Yeah. People would be like, Mahomes is still great, man. He just doesn't have the weapons. Mahomes is amazing, but he just doesn't have the horses. Well, what are we talking about here? Same thing. We saw, right? This isn't the 5,500 yard Patrick Mahomes 50 touchdown season. He didn't have as much as he's used to having, and he had a down season for Patrick Mahomes. Turns out you need weapons. I feel like the 49ers, if they can, I'm with Mike, if they can get a lead and hold a lead, the one thing that I do know about the 49ers is that third quarter, that second half adjustment is a big one for the 49ers. And if you can't score enough points to get a lead in the first half, heaven help you, man, because D'Amico Ryans Steve Wilkes for all the, I'm thinking about D'Amico Ryans because he got robbed for Coach of the Year tonight. But, Steve Wilkes for all the stuff that we talk and, all the issues that we have, the one thing that he does do is he adjusts pretty well in that second half. So coming out into the third quarter, they adjust. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say that this isn't going to be a close game because I do think it's going to be a close game. You could never count out Patrick Mahomes and all that stuff. I don't feel the intimidation that I felt in 2019. 2019, I was a little more worried because they had all these weapons. I was just like, damn, man, the Chiefs are so good. Like I'm kind of worried about this. I don't know if we can play from behind. I don't know if we can, hold a lead, right? Like I'm always worried about, can we score enough points? I'm not worried about the 49ers scoring enough points. And with the way that the Chiefs have been down on offense, it's hard to imagine that the 49ers would give up the same amount of points that they gave up to a Detroit team that I felt was much more dynamic with their weapons and their playmakers than the Chiefs are going to be. So it's interesting. It's very interesting and kind of hard to predict how it's going to go down.
Niners by 20, baby. Now listen, I said first the Packers, I said Niners by like 16, something like that. First the Lions, I said Niners by 19 or something like that. I've been wrong in all of them, but we've got the win. There's no reason for me to change what I'm doing. I'm saying Niners by 20. The Chiefs cannot go toe-to-toe, score for score against this 49ers team. So I'm going to keep on going with my big lead. I'd rather be disappointed with the margin that we win by, but go ahead and get the win. Bro, Niners by 20. I'm talking 33-13. Niners. Let's go, baby.
Okay, let's do it. Mike, you shared the stats. I'm going to pull it up here, and then we'll talk about.
By the way, we got a little Chiefs fan in here. He says Chiefs by 30. Dang, dude, it's too late in the evening for crack. You shouldn't do that.
So this is the stat here. Interceptions thrown that got reversed by penalty in the last 6 years. Patrick Mahomes 53. Josh Allen in second with 7. And then he added his own little community notes.
They fact checked them down below right there. So they say it's false. He only had 51 reversed by penalties, and Josh Allen had 8. So he was wrong on both parties. But it's still
that's like
huge
Spider-Man
disparity
meme where they're pointing at each other. That's same, dude.
That's crazy. That's insane.
Can you imagine throwing 51 interceptable passes and then saying, "Oh, well, the flag saved me"? Right? So Zach mentioned it earlier where he was like, oh, well, Patrick Mahomes has the most interceptable passes, right? That was a stat. And I never saw it. I'm like, well, where are they getting this from? That's how it happens. Right there. Because there was a false start or not false start, but offsides or whatever, like that's where it comes from. He throws terrible throws at maybe the best times. I would call it the best times because it doesn't count against him. But he still makes those throws. The Niners getting 2 picks in this game, bro. Like we're going out there and we're smoking. We're gonna get them this game. I'm telling y'all, we're gonna get them this game.
I got Mooney with 1. I know Mooney's gonna get one. He's dying to get one on his old team.
Demo's getting one, bro.
Bro, All Pro Fred is getting one.
Yep, he already got one last time.
Hell, I'll wait until the
okay. All right. So we talked about the 49ers defense defending Patrick Mahomes. Who's the number one? Is it still Kelce? Is it now? Let's flip it around because we're going to the 49ers strength now in their offense, which the 3 of us sat here in August and said, could we actually see the strength of this team change? Could we see them go from a defensive team to an offensive team? Maybe, depends. That's what we saw this season. Brock Purdy led this team to a offensive face on it. It's amazing to see what they've been able to do. And Brock Purdy, I saw, gosh, I should have had the stat up. He's got the highest rating either this season or for the last few seasons in the fourth quarter of any quarterback in the playoffs. Any quarterback in the playoffs in the fourth quarter. I'll try and find it if I can pull it up here while someone else is going. But the 49ers offense, healthy, because they are healthy, is as difficult of an offense. They rank number one. I just showed you the chart not too long ago. They're the best rushing offense. Well, second, I guess, to Baltimore. Baltimore's watching the game from home now. And then they're a fantastic passing offense as well. Mike, I think this comes down to Shanahan versus Spagnuolo. How do you feel about this matchup?
I'm taking Shanahan, man. And it's less about the man versus the man and the moment versus the moment. Spagnuolo's been here, done that, won that. Shanahan hasn't won it yet before. And I think that he's going to put it all on the line. I watched a lot of pressers this week. I've seen Kyle Shanahan talking to the randoms. I've seen him talking to the media and everybody in between. He just seems different. He shaved all the grays off. He's looking younger. He's looking more focused outside of his juiced up comments. Kyle Shanahan is ready to go out here and call the game of his life. And even this offseason, he put something in the light for me. You know, we all knocked Kyle Shanahan for that 28-3 loss against the Patriots when he was with the Falcons. And he came out and later said that both of my running backs were hurt. I only had 2 active for that game. We didn't know that. Kyle's not going to be caught off guard like that again. He will use Christian McCaffrey every play until he can't, and then he'll go to Elijah Mitchell. He's not going to get caught in a situation where he's only down to 1 running back. I think that weighs something here. Kyle Shanahan is not going to let history repeat itself as far as the reasons why he lost games. He's tired of losing Super Bowls. He did it one time against Andy Reid. He did it again against Bill Belichick. It's not going to happen again, guys. They say that fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I won't let you get me a third time. This is Kyle's third time. We're going to get it, guys. This is a year of destiny. This is the year of unlucky 13 reigning supreme. Brock Purdy wears number 13. Super Bowl 58 was 5 plus 8 is 13. Where the 49ers was 4 plus 9 is 13. This is our year. I can't say it to you guys any clearer than what I've said it already. We are walking away with this Lombardi. I'm a little disappointed because I found out the Lombardi is in silver. I thought it was platinum. I could be the only person that thought this, but I swear to God, I thought it was a platinum trophy. It's fucking silver. I'm a little disappointed.
Hey, don't sleep on silver. Actual sterling silver is very valuable.
Yeah, but it's not as valuable as platinum.
Mike, let me add on to your numerology there. We talked.
Come on.
And Nick from Nothing But Niners pointed this out. When Brock Purdy took a knee in the championship game to send the Niners to the Super Bowl, the time on the clock, 6:49 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Quest for 6, 49ers.
49ers. Come on, baby.
It can't be written any better. And look, just add on to that too. What have we always heard? 0-38. Kyle Shanahan's trailing. This team come back when they're down. Not only did they come back, they came back once in the divisional round. They were only down 4 points, and they came back and won it, or 7 points, whatever it was. And then that wasn't good enough for some folks. So they went down 17 in the championship game.
Come on.
They erased that lead so quickly that stat doesn't even apply because they weren't even trailing going into the fourth quarter anymore.
Come on, bro.
24-24 to start the fourth quarter. That's how.
Talk your shit.
That shit, bro.
Talk your shit, Zach. Let's go, baby.
49ers year. This is the 49ers year. Everything's pointing.
Let's go.
All the signs are there. If you guys want to choose to be blind and ignore it, that's on you. But this is the 49ers year. Everything.
Yes, sir.
Writing.
Yes, sir.
I know.
February 11th. February 11th also equals 13. Come on, man. This is our year, bro. We got it this year, man.
I got you even more than that. Guess who just won their 13th Grammy the other night?
Who?
Taylor Swift.
Woo! She can't even help. Let's go.
13 is Taylor Swift's favorite number, right? Her and Travis Kelce are a couple, so they're 100% of a couple. What's 100 minus 87? 13. Right? Her first multi-platinum album or whatever was on the top of the charts for 13 weeks. Like I'm with you guys. I don't even believe this shit, but like it's a glitch in the matrix. I believe, man. I believe.
100%. 100%. It's all there. It's all there. You just got to know the signs and how to read them. Man, I'm so excited for this game. I really do think I need to pull up this stat, but the Chiefs rushing defense is the weakest the 49ers will go up against, especially in the playoffs.
Particularly against outside zone running. They're 31st in the league at outside zone run defense. The 49ers are number 4 when it comes to outside zone running yards per carry. The 49ers need to run Christian McCaffrey all day long.
And they're 28th overall. 28th overall against the run. So their weakness is the 49ers' main strength. Mike, you talked about Christian McCaffrey getting all the touch. There's literal props in this game. Will any other running back get a carry other than Christian McCaffrey for the 49ers? That's how much Kyle Shanahan will run Christian McCaffrey. There are props out there. Will they even let Elijah Mitchell carry the ball? Yeah, maybe when it's 42-10 and we need to, kill the clock. Sure. I'm being a little facetious there, but it's crazy. But I really do think that's the 49ers' main strength is that rushing attack, and that's the Chiefs' biggest weakness. And I think they'll continue to run it at the Chiefs, and they won't be able to stop it. They just won't. And I really do think Kyle Shanahan, last Super Bowl against the Chiefs, Deebo Samuel was on pace to be Super Bowl MVP. He was running all over them, and then his last touch came in the third quarter, less than halfway through it. I don't think he'll make that mistake again. I really don't. I think that he will be able to see that it's working and just continue punching them and punching them and punching them because, man, it really is perfect. Ben V. Swift was born December 13th.
Kyle's going to go out there and put it all on the line. If he thinks that Brandon Ayuk is his best shot, he'll use Brandon Ayuk. If he thinks George Kittle is his best shot, he's going to use George Kittle. Kyle will leave nothing unturned in this game. I guarantee that, guys. I guarantee it. This is going to be absolutely phenomenal, man. This is I'm so ready.
Did you guys see the stat where Trent McDuffie locks down opposing number ones or whatever, and they don't have good games, and they posted a stat of Justin Jefferson and all these people that he held down, and then somebody else responded with how the number twos do. They eat. So you can you can shut down whoever you think number one is, whether it's Debo or whether you think it's Brandon Ayuk. Guess what? The other dude's going to eat. George Kittle's going to go off. Christian McCaffrey is going to eat. Yeah. It's a buffet line, okay? The boys are going to eat.
1,000%. Also, I brought up Brock Purdy in the fourth quarter. I did find his stats, and he's got the best stats in the fourth quarter since 1991. And
come on, baby.
This postseason, he's got a 77.4% completion percentage, 9.3 yards per pass attempt, and a touchdown to interception ratio of 2-1, a passer rating of 126.8. If that's not clutch, then I don't know what is. That's as clutch as you can get. And we saw people like Shannon, we saw people like Keyshawn say, well, yeah, but I want to see him do it when they're down a good amount, when every throw matters. We saw that Sunday versus the Lions. Every single possession, every single throw mattered. And guys, something we haven't even talked about, which we didn't really see much until this championship game, is his legs, his ability to scramble and make plays.
Come on.
With his legs. We had seen him maybe try and force balls where he shouldn't have because everybody was perfectly covered. He's not doing that anymore. And I really do think that's that evolution of his game where he's able to escape out of the pocket. So now the Chiefs are going to have to decide. Willie Gay, I don't know if he's going to be healthy. I know they wanted to use him on a spy on Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. That wouldn't have happened. If he's healthy, they're going to have to decide, do we dedicate one man to stopping him as a spy, or do we allow him to drop back into coverage? That's a decision they're going to have to make, and I really do think Kyle Shanahan's going to take advantage. Whatever they make, he's going to take advantage of the opposite. One less man in pass coverage. If they do spy him, if they don't, then Purdy's going to take off.
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, to touch on your Brock Purdy fourth quarter, the second half against the Lions, Brock Purdy was 13 of 16 for 174 yards and a touchdown for a 132.8 passer rating, and then 3 carries for 52 yards in that fourth quarter to seal the deal. So I'm with you on that. And it is an interesting dilemma, right? He has elite 10-yard shuttle or 10-yard speed, right? The 10-yard split for him is elite level. So you got to pay attention. And by the way, if they dedicate Willie Gay to, if he does play, to spying on Brock Purdy, that definitely means that George Kittle and Deebo Samuel and these guys are going to eat. You're going to see a lot of 3rd and Juwan. You're going to see a lot of CMC coming out of the backfield. We talk about, if there's ever a time to lean into the fact that the 49ers have all these weapons and that Brock Purdy's great at getting them the ball, it's this game right here, right? Yep. Like, cool. Chiefs got a great defense, but who else has these horses? And it's going to be inside the dome, so we don't have to worry about weather, right? We don't have to worry about all that stuff. Brock Purdy's he's going to ball out. I just feel it in my bones. He's going to ball out. Honestly, I'll save it.
Mike, I have a clip I'm going to play for you, but all I'll say is the Niners fans are worried about our own rushing defense. The Chiefs have given up the most rushing yards of any defense in this postseason. So, and obviously not just between these two teams, like going up until championship weekend, they had given up the most. So,
hey, Zach, Mike put a link in the chat. Play that.
Yeah, I got it here. You ready? All right, I'm going to play this video. Shout out to Mina Kimes, ESPN. Credit to them. Let me make sure it's formatted correctly. All right.
Last week, we were talking about the Ravens. Marcus Spears and I were very upset that they didn't run the ball. I don't think that's going to be a problem with Kyle Shanahan, the San Francisco 49ers. It's not just that they're good at running and that Kansas City has struggled to stop the run. It's the way they run. Dan talked about them using 21, potentially 22 personnel. The Chiefs typically counter that with base, meaning 3 linebackers on the field. And when they do so this year, 29th in EPA per play against the run. The Niners love to run the ball from under center. Kansas City, 25th versus under center runs. And San Francisco has actually gone back to their identity a little bit as more of a zone running team yet again. Kansas City Chiefs allow the 2nd most yards per attempt on zone runs. Matchup versus matchup versus matchup. It's not favorable to Kansas City on the ground. Kyle Shanahan knows this. I expect them to run the ball a lot.
There you go, baby. There you go. I really do think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see. And that's why, in my opinion, Christian McCaffrey will be Super Bowl MVP. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but that's what we're going to see. Anthony says, our defense matches Pacheco as a runner better than Gibbs or Jones, which I agree. That physical kind of ground and pound runner than that fast shifty back, that bodes a lot more in the 49ers' favor, in my opinion. Let me see. There's some other comments here. Niners will have a 50 burger in the bowl. That'd be beautiful. That would be beautiful. There's a question here. We talked about him a little bit, but do you think the Niners will try to scheme around Chris Jones? How do you think they will handle Chris Jones in the middle of their offensive line? Are you guys concerned about him?
Run away from him because he's slower than molasses going uphill on a hot day.
Okay. What about in the pass game? Quick passes?
He's a non-factor. No, we'll be okay. Not for nothing, he's the main guy on the defensive line, and the Niners take away the best pass rusher no matter who we play. We remember the TJ Watt in week 1. He had 3 plays. They were all back to back to back, and then before and after that, it was nothing. So the Niners know how to plan and appropriate protection for those guys. It's the same thing here. We make Aaron Donald look like a nobody when we play against him. Kyle knows exactly what he's doing. That's going to continue.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not super worried about it. 40% of his sacks this year came against the Denver Broncos.
True.
By the way, I think it's hilarious. I know Brock Purdy didn't win MVP, but he did something in his career that Russell Wilson has never done, which is receive an MVP vote. So
Oh, he did. How, did he get one?
He finished fourth.
Good for him. I didn't see the total
Yeah,
voting yet.
he
That's
finished
awesome.
fourth. So it was Lamar won MVP. I think Josh Allen was second, Christian McCaffrey third, and then Brock Purdy fourth.
Okay. I like it. The 49ers, everything on paper is for them to win this game, right? Everything matches up. They have the advantage. This isn't the same Chiefs team. And going back to the Chiefs' last loss was Christmas Day versus the Raiders, where they lost 20-14. Zamir White had 22 carries for 145 yards, averaged 6 yards a carry. I mean, even Amir Abdullah, he only had 2 carries. He still averaged 5.5. They ran all over them. Aiden O'Connell didn't even complete 10 passes. It was 9 for 21, 62 yards. And they ran all over them. I know they had a pick 6, but still, they just ran straight through this Kansas City Chiefs team. I think that's going to be the key to winning, is they just completely decimate them on the ground. Purdy, somebody said it in the chat, maybe he only needs to throw 20, 25 times. Christian, Brock only needs to throw 20, 25 passes. This game, in my opinion, should look similar to his Philly game. Maybe not in the yards wise, but maybe in the efficiency wise. We don't need him to air it out. We don't need him to throw for 500 yards. It's not going to be a shootout, in my opinion. Just go out there and take care of business. And I really do think the 49ers will do that. Anything else on this 49ers offense / Chiefs defense that we didn't cover?
I think it's going to be another big Deebo Samuel game. I do think that this lines up to be able to use Deebo in the way that they listen. If there was ever a game where whether it's Christian McCaffrey or Deebo Samuel that you run them till the wheels fall off, this is the game. Like, hold nothing back. We saw in the 2019 Super Bowl that Deebo had a lot of success in that first half. That was the wide back. That was Deebo's big time breakout year. I think if ever there was an opportunity for him to kind of reclaim that and them to take advantage of the Chiefs, it would be that.
1,000%. Mike, do you have anything to add?
I don't have anything right now, so I'll shut up. Nothing right now.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Let's get into our offensive and defensive predictions. And I guess with this one, we'll add a Super Bowl MVP prediction at the end. Let's start with defense. I'll go first. I'll cheat. Okay, I kind of gave you guys a little hint earlier. I'll go with Mooney Ward. And I think he's going to just completely shut down Rashee Rice. He's going to have under 25 yards receiving. That's my bold prediction for defensive player of the game. Mooney Ward locks down Rice, gets a pick. Matt, defensive player of the game.
You already know. When I told you earlier, when we were talking about Patrick Mahomes interceptions, Nick Bosa, 3 sacks, a forced fumble, and an interception of Patrick Mahomes. Let's go. He's going to read Patrick Mahomes on some bullshit bubble screen, and he's going to do much like he did against the Carolina Panthers a couple years ago, tip that bitch up in the air and get an interception.
That's right. Mike, what do you got?
I am going to go with Diamador Lenore for the defensive player of the game. 2 picks. Not 1, but 2 picks for the 49ers right there. Yep.
Let's do it. Mikey, let's get Trent Williams a touchdown. And, hey, I think we probably see Juice score in this touchdown again, like he scored in the first touchdown versus the Chiefs. Offensive player prediction, I'm going to go with the easy one, guys. I'm sorry. Christian McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey's going to have 250 total yards in this game and 3 touchdowns. Matt, who do you got?
I'm going to go with the man who is the real MVP. I'm going to go with the man who has carried this 49ers team on his back, even though he will get no credit for it, right? The team that couldn't get over the hump last year without him is going to have him this year. Brock Purdy, he's going to be the offensive player of the game. He is going to have 5 touchdown passes, 1 to each of his weapons. And you can toss it up whether it's going to be Juwan Jennings or whether they run a tackle-eligible goal line play where he tosses 1 to Trent Williams. Brock Purdy, to CMC, Brock Purdy to Kittle, Brock Purdy to BA, Brock Purdy to Debo, Brock Purdy spraying the ball around the field all day, and he's going to leave no doubt that he is the real deal, that he is Drew Brees 2.0 for this 49ers team, that he is the franchise. He is, people call him a game manager. Fuck that. He's a CEO. He is the CEO of this 49ers offense, and he's going to go out there and execute all day long.
Badass.
Wow.
Mike, what do you got?
I'm going to go with Brandon Ayuk, man. 3 touchdowns on the day. 3. Not 1,
Damn.
not 2, but 3 for Brandon Ayuk, man. I want to go 184 yards, 3 touchdowns for Brandon Ayuk, man. I think he's going to cook out there in that Chiefs secondary. Let's go.
All right, we're going to do Super Bowl MVPs now. As much as I want to go with an obscure guy, the prediction I just gave for McCaffrey, I think I have to go with McCaffrey. 200 plus total yards and 3 scores. McCaffrey gets that ring plus that Toyota Tacoma, whatever the hell they give away to Super Bowl MVPs these days. Super Bowl MVP, Christian McCaffrey. SB MVP, CMC. Matt, what do you got?
Listen, he just signed an exclusive deal with Toyota. It's going to be my man Brock Purdy. And even if he doesn't have the 5 touchdowns that I predicted, if he is the driving force of that offense, he's going to win that Super Bowl MVP. It remains more of a quarterback-driven award. I just feel like everything's aligning for him. The stars are aligning. Again, Mike, Zach, myself, we all talked about the 13 type of thing. It's 13's game, man. It's 13's game. So Purdy for Super Bowl MVP.
I am going to rock with my man Matt and go with Brock Purdy.
Let's
I
go.
think Brock Purdy ends up getting it all. Yeah, absolutely.
And we all said, Lamar, you could take normal MVP as long as Purdy gets Super Bowl MVP in February.
Yep.
This is
As long as he gets the real MVP.
Yep. This is
There
it,
you
guys.
go.
All right. Final score predictions, and then we'll wrap up. Whew, this is the Super Bowl, guys. This is the last final score prediction we will do until August. So,
But isn't it the one that we've wanted to do the most?
I think I can't even tell you how glad I am everything aligned the way it did. You've seen those memes, right? Where it's like 2019 Chiefs versus Niners in the Super Bowl, Biden versus Trump election. Like there's all these same things that are lining up that's like so weirdly coincidental, but the 49ers are going to win and set things right this year. I got the Niners 34-21. 34-21. Matt, what do you got?
Listen, I was going to go with a close game, but then Mike reminded me, hey, I've been predicting big wins for the 49ers, and it might not have been the scores that I wanted, but let's not upset the apple cart. We're going to continue to go with the big score prediction. 49ers 49, Chiefs 13.
Let's go.
Wow.
Let's go. Mike, what do you got?
I said earlier, Niners by 20. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go with Niners 34, Chiefs 14. 20-point win for my 49ers, man. I like it. Let's go.
Let's do it. Guys, we will be live Sunday, I assume, right after the Niners win. Right after the Niners win, we'll be live talking about that quest for 6. Mike, please.
Yeah, I want to say this, man. Guys, starting 2 p.m. on Saturday, we will be live for a 24-hour stream. Okay, Zach is invited. Matt is invited. They can come on whenever they want. And so if they decide to do that, look for little shows, impromptu, however you want to call it. They are welcome to join whenever they feel the need to. And hopefully they show it on their channels. So make sure you guys are here. 24-hour stream, the first of its kind for 49ers content creators. A 24-hour stream here. This is going to be phenomenal. So make sure you guys are locked in and you are ready to rock and roll. 24 hours of nothing but 49ers content. That's how I got it. That's how I see it going. And that's all I got for you guys.
Mike, 2 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah, Eastern. Yeah, sorry.
11 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, go check that out, guys.
No. 11 a.m.
Sorry. Yeah, 11 a.m. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good catch. Go check that out, guys. We'll definitely pop in, see what's up, see what Mike's got going on. 24-hour stream. We did it, guys. We made it through the Super Bowl. The 49ers are one of the last 2 teams standing. This is what we wanted. This is what we hoped for. Like George Kittle said last week, piping up the players for Detroit. Everything you wanted as a kid, everything you wanted to start the season is still in front of you. So the 49ers are here. They're going to take this. Like Steve Young said, they're not going to win it. They're going to steal it from bloody hands, and they will hoist their 6th Lombardi trophy come Sunday night. And you guys got to come back here because I'm going to be balling like a baby. I'm 29. I've never witnessed that I remember 49ers win a Super Bowl. This is the year. I could feel it in my bones. I feel it with everything in me. As sure as I was when the 49ers were down 24-7 against the Lions, they were going to come back and win that. I'm twice as sure they're going to win this game. So we'll be there. We'll be here.
Are you guys? You think you guys are going to cry?
I will 1,000% cry. 1,000%.
I don't think so. For me personally, no. Like, maybe. I don't know. You know what? Honestly, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It's certain things that'll trigger me, and then there's other things that won't. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Tears
I
of
remember
joy.
49ers last Super Bowl win. I was 12 at the time. So, yeah, this is going to be I don't know. That's going to be almost 30 years of pent-up frustration. So, very well could.
And also,
It depends how much beer I've had, honestly.
that too. That too. And by the way, I told all you bitches, not you two, but everybody watching, ask for this Monday off back in December. I was posting it on
Hell
Twitter.
yeah.
I was telling you
He
guys
did.
on the show. I got it off. I have it off. So I'm going to be getting hammered probably Sunday night. But the 49ers, I love how people are like, oh, they struggled against Green Bay and Detroit. Those 2 teams beat Kansas City. Yeah. Also, the 49ers just beat every NFC team that made the playoffs this year. No big deal.
Yeah.
They beat all the other 6 seeds that made the playoffs. So it's no small feat. And now they're going to wrap it up with beating the last surviving team in the AFC, Kansas City.
There you go. Is there a chat pack for tonight?
Oh, you know what? Let me pull one up.
I didn't know if you had one. I'm not telling you what to do. I was just wondering.
We have to stick to traditions if we're doing shit, man.
Yeah, let's go, man. Let's go. Come on, baby. Listen, man, I am hoping to see Zach and Matt in here for the 24-hour stream. I don't care when or where they pop in. I don't know what time it's going to be, but I'm hoping that they pop in, make their presence known.
Look for me on Sunday morning, brother.
There you go. Let's talk some shit, man. Come on. Early Sunday morning, too. Come on, Matt. Wake up, brush your teeth, and hit the link. Come on, man. Let's go, baby.
All right,
Let's go.
I have one here.
Let's go.
Which behavior, that's kind of worded weirdly. I guess I'll word it differently because this isn't worded that way. Which behavior, which maybe nobody really thinks of too much, can you tell a lot by a person? Like, what is something somebody does that you can learn a lot from that maybe people don't normally think about too much? Is there something, they don't tip a waiter?
I got one right off the bat.
Go ahead.
If you don't put your shopping cart back in the shopping cart area, if you just throw that shit up on a curb, if you just leave it next to a car, I know you're a lazy fuck and you don't give a fuck about anybody's shit. Walk your ass and your cart back to where the cart holder is and put it away properly. That's how you have to do it. Like, it's my pet peeve, and I will go and pull other people's carts and put them away. It's a sign of respect, right? They give you an area to put your shopping cart, and you're too busy. You're just like, nah, fuck this. No thanks, man. It's respect. It's just a respect thing, right? Like, just do what you're supposed to do and put them away. You can tell a lot by a person who either does or does not do that.
Agreed. 1,000%. Cart Narcs is awesome. Mike, do you have one?
I don't right now. Can you come back to me?
I'll go. For me, it might be a little too general, but just how somebody treats somebody that's quote unquote below them, right? Maybe it's a homeless guy. Maybe it's a waiting staff, people that are handling your food at a restaurant. Like, if you are rude to those people, I immediately am like skeptical about you as a person, especially if it's like unfounded, like if somebody's trying to be nice, do their job, or you're just a prick to them for no reason, then it totally puts my antennas go up, kind of like, beware of this person.
Yeah.
When you have nothing to gain out of being nice to somebody, if you're still nice to them, usually you're a good person.
It's like how you treat the elderly. That's
Yeah.
my answer. Like, like if you're mean to elderly people, like you should hope to get there one day. So if you're treating them fucked up, like fuck you, and you deserve to be treated fucked up. So
I like that.
I'm gonna go with that. Yeah.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this show. The 49ers are going to go win the Super Bowl. They're going to bring home that 6th Lombardi in the Raiders Stadium, nonetheless. That's going to do it for tonight. Zach, Mike, Matt, for the last time this season, please carry us out.
Let's go, Zach. Let's go, Matt. Come on, baby.
Listen, Terrell Owens once said, get your popcorn ready. I'm going to tell you to get your wings, your pizza, your beer, your nachos, your friends, your couch, your TV, your sound system, your dogs, your cat, your wife, your brothers, your mothers, your sisters, your cousins, your aunties, everybody. Tell the world, get ready, because it's about to be a bloodbath. And the 49ers are going to lay it down on the Chiefs like you ain't never seen before. All right. This is the quest for 6. The quest for 6 is going to come to an end on Sunday as the 49ers host that Lombardi trophy. You know it. We know it. The Chiefs fans know it. Everybody knows it. It's just a matter of it playing out on the field. So for Zach, for Mike, for myself, thank you as always for joining us. This is the last preview show of the year. When we come back here, we're going to be celebrating that Super Bowl trophy. So with that in mind, tuck your children in, kiss your wife goodnight, kiss your girlfriend, spouse, whoever you got. If it's yourself, kiss your own damn hand, because you know damn well that it's magic time. It's time to get the business done. So please, please, please be there Sunday to witness history. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Until next time, go Niners!